إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, over the course of a human history, different people had different ways to seek guidance. For instance, Arabs in Jahiliyyah had something called al-azlam. Al-azlam are a bunch of sticks in which they write on half of them, "My Lord commanded me," and on the other half, "My Lord forbade me." Then they will mix them up and randomly pick one of them. If they get a stick with a command, they will do it. If they get a stick with a prohibition, they will abstain from it. What about Thamud, the people of Salih alayhi salam? Thamud, whenever they were concerned about something, they would release a bird into the sky. If the bird flies to the right, then that's a good. If the bird flies to the left, then this is bad. And they said, as Allah mentioned in the Quran in Surah An-Naml, verse 47, قالوا طيرنا بك وبمن معك قال طائركم عند الله بل أنتم قوم تفتنون. They replied, "You and your followers are a bad omen for us." He responded, i.e. Salih, "Your omens are destined by Allah. In fact, you are only a people being tested." People in the West have also had their choices influenced by certain things. If they encounter number 13 or pass by an owl, for example, then it means bad luck. Alternatively, if they encounter a horseshoe or a carnation leaf, then it means good luck. Gypsies use tarot reading to predict the future. Some people now in some countries seek Turkish coffee fortune telling, or use astrology, which is fortune telling by observing movement of celestial bodies, or use numerology, which is by using numbers. All of the aforementioned methods people use to help them to take better decisions or predict the future are only falsehoods and superstitions. We Muslims, on the other hand, have a divine way to take decisions, which is istikhara, the prayer of seeking counsel from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People have a burning desire to seek help from a superpower to help them take a better decision, and because many were not guided by Allah, they came up with these falsehoods and superstitions. All of this is just for the sake of seeking to know the unseen, which only Allah knows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also in Surah An-Naml, verse 65, قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ أَيَّانَ يُبْعَثُونَ. Say, O Prophet, none in the heavens and the earth has knowledge of the unseen except Allah, nor do they know when they will be resurrected. For us Muslims, Allah had granted us a better alternative. عن جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله عنه قال: كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلمنا الاستخارة في الأمور كلها كما يعلمنا السورة من القرآن. يقول: إذا هم أحدكم بالأمر فليركع ركعتين من غير الفريضة، ثم ليقل: اللهم إني أستخيرك بعلمك وأستقدرك بقدرتك وأسألك من فضلك العظيم، فإنك تقدر ولا أقدر وتعلم ولا أعلم وأنت علام الغيوب. اللهم إن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر خير لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري، أو قال في عاجل أمري وآجله فاقدره لي ويسره لي ثم بارك لي فيه. وإن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر شر لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري، أو قال في عاجل أمري وآجله فاصرفه عني واصرفني عنه واقدر لي الخير حيث كان ثم ردني به. ويسمي حاجته. رواه البخاري في صحيحه وصححه الألباني. It was narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah. He said, the Prophet of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, used to teach us the istikhara in matters just as if it was a surah of the Quran. He said when someone is concerned about something, he would pray 2 rak'ats and then say, "Oh Allah, I consult you through your knowledge. I seek strength through your power. I ask for your great bounty. For you are capable whereas I am not, and you know and I do not, and you are the knower of the unseen. Oh Allah, if you know that this matter," and you name it, "is good for me in respect of my deen, my livelihood, and the consequences of my affairs," where he said, "the sooner or the later of my affairs, then ordain it for me, make it easy for me, and bless it for me. But if you know this matter and you name it to be bad for my deen, my livelihood, or the consequences of my affairs," where he said, "the sooner or the later of my affairs, then turn it away from me and turn me away from it and grant me the best, whatever it may be, and cause me to be contented with it." You need to know that when you make istikhara, you entrusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take that decision for you, who is more merciful to you than yourself. Seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guidance and counsel requires certain steps to be done correctly. As mentioned by Jabir ibn Abdullah in that hadith about Prophet Muhammad, he used to teach us the istikhara in matters just as if it was a surah of the Quran, which entails the process is very precise. The reason for that is that because the result will be magnificent. Some scholars mention that the purpose of performing 2 rak'ats before reciting the dua is to glorify the dua and make it appropriate to asking Allah for the best in this life and the hereafter. So before making this request to Allah, a suitable introduction is made by praying these 2 rak'ats. Now, if you attempt to explore some of the secrets of this dua, you will be surprised by the beautiful choice of words and how each one is very precise. In this dua, you say, "Oh Allah, if you know that this affair is good for me in my deen, my livelihood, and the end of my affairs," you realize that deen is the first thing Allah started with. Because if a misfortune afflicts your deen, its impact will be way bigger than any possible misfortune that could afflict your worldly affairs. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say, وَلَا تَجْعَلْ مُصِيبَتَنَا فِي دِينِنَا, i.e. do not let misfortune afflict our deen. And then after mentioning deen, he goes on to mention livelihood, which is about this life. This dua combines the best of this life and the hereafter. Then he mentions consequences because things can start easy and then turn out to be very difficult at the end. So you are asking for something that starts easy and does not have bad consequences. That's why he also mentions, "Ordain it for me, make it easy for me, and bless it for me." This shows Allah's mercy in this dua, because you are not only asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for enablement, you're actually asking Allah for both enablement and facilitation, to facilitate that thing for you. For example, you might make the right decision, but end up working yourself to death for many years until you achieve what you are after. Although it was a good decision, but it costed you a lot. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala diverted from you, it is for a good reason. Then the first half of the dua ends by asking Allah for His blessing, because it will magnify the goodness of everything. For instance, you do that thing which is a good choice for you, and you have good consequences, but it's not blessed by Allah, i.e. you do not experience any barakah in that thing. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not bless that thing, then it will be a problem. So you ask Allah for blessing. Then after saying the second part of the dua, which is similar to the first part, except that it's asking Allah to divert your choice away from the bad thing or the bad choice, You end it by saying, then turn it away from me and turn me away from it. So we understand saying turn it away from me. It's a bad choice. But what does it mean to turn me away from it? Well, it's simply touching something of our human nature. Like when I want something so bad, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not dictate that thing to happen, then it might be diverted away from me, but my heart will still be attached to that thing. I want it so bad, so I might think of it. I might say, I wish that had happened. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to divert me away from it, so I don't keep thinking about it. Now, you can realize that by reading these words, how beautiful they are. In my opinion, one of the signs of the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is this dua, for example. Such a dua cannot be said or written or authored by a human being. It combines the best of this life and the hereafter. And it also combines psychological facts that usually people are not aware of. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those people who are always happy with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for us. At the end of the dua, grant me the best, whatever it may be, and cause me to be contented with it. Because even when you get the better choice, you might not be happy about it. So that's the purpose why you ask Allah at the end of the dua for that thing. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه هو البر الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له تعظيما لشانه وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الداعي إلى رضوانه صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه وإخوانه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, let's go through some common questions when it comes to istikhara. When shall I say the dua? You can actually either say it after the salah immediately or say it at the end of the salah, i.e. after tashahhud. Both ways are okay. You might ask, should I feel something or have a dream after I make an istikhara? No. Once you attempt on doing something, you pray istikhara, then you proceed with it. If Allah decrees for that thing to happen, then this is the best choice for you. If you proceed and you do your best and it does not happen, then it's not the best choice for you. Although it's possible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you feel comfortable or make you have certain dream that interpreted to proceed in that affair, but it's not necessary. So just pray istikhara and proceed in your action. In what matters should one perform istikhara? In all life matters that does not have a religious statement or preference. One should not make istikhara on something that is forbidden, like for example, applying for interest-based loan, i.e. riba. Also, one should not make istikhara on whether he or she would make an obligatory act of worship, something like performing hajj. Now, when someone has the physical and financial capability to perform hajj, then he or she must do it. So it's not an option anymore. Also, when you make istikhara, make it on something that you are determined to do. After you have thought your options and you have determined one of the options, you make istikhara on that. Does istikhara have a preferred time? Istikhara does not have a specific time or a preferred time. You can do it any time you need it, but be careful of the time where prayers are forbidden. For example, such as the time after Asr prayer. Now, if the matter is urgent and you need to make istikhara at that time and you cannot wait, it's okay to pray istikhara at that time. If it is not urgent and you can wait until the time passes, that's a preferred option. Can I combine a sunnah prayer or a nafila prayer with istikhara? Yes. Most scholars say one does not have to pray a distant prayer for istikhara, but he or she has to make the intention to pray it for istikhara. For example, I pray dhuhr and after dhuhr I pray 2 rak'ah nafila. I make the intention that I pray 2 rak'ah nafila for dhuhr for istikhara. Then after istikhara, I recite that dua. Now, if I don't memorize the dua, can I read it from a book or a smartphone, for example? It's highly recommended to recite the dua from memory, but it's fine to recite it from a book or a smartphone. It's completely fine if it's easier for the person. What about repeating istikhara? Is it possible to have istikhara several times? Yes, it is possible. This action was narrated to be done by a bunch of companions. One of them is Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Now, what in such cases, for example, if a sister is in a state of menstruation and cannot pray, or a brother, for example, even a sister in a situation where they need to take an immediate action. For example, they want to take an action in a stock market to buy or sell or do something. Maybe in that time you don't have the time to pray. So in that situation, it's, too narrow window, so it's okay to recite the dua without praying the 2 rak'ahs. It's okay in such situation. Now, one more thing to be careful about is that when you make your dua, whether it's istikhara or any other normal dua, be sure to be present and be mindful when you recite the words. Because روى أبو هريرة في صحيح الترمذي ادعوا الله وأنتم موقنون بالإجابة واعلموا أن الله لا يستجيب دعاء من قلب غافل لاهٍ. Supplicate God when you're assured of being answered, and know that God does not answer a supplication which comes from a careless and inattentive heart. So make sure when you recite your istikhara or any other dua to be mindful, to be present in your dua, and just feel the words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer for you. I will end my khutbah by this. If I sincerely make istikhara but it turned out to be bad, something turned out to be bad although I performed istikhara, what is that? Now, this is a very big topic, honestly, and requires another khutbah by itself. But the short answer is that if you make istikhara on buying, for example, a car, or getting married to someone, or applying to a job, and then it turned out to be a bad decision, then there's wisdom beyond that we do not know. Many things in life seems to be bad, but turn out to be good in the long term. You just need to have your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is dictating the best for you, whether you understand it or not, whether you know the wisdom beyond it or not. We as human beings cannot understand all the wisdom beyond Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choices for us. Sometimes Allah diverts something in this life just to give something better in the hereafter. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم إنا نسألك أن لا تجعل لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا دينا إلا قضيته، ولا حاجة لنا من حوائج الدنيا هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا أعنتنا على قضائها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العلي العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أعلى وأعظم وأجل وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.